Hello my beauties, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tamara, and on this side of the internet we talk about all things faith, fashion, and lifestyle. So if that is your vibe, stay tuned. All right, you guys, so I am going to be sharing with you my Lasix eye surgery journey. I'm sharing this for anyone who maybe wants to do Lasix eye surgery, is nervous, and does not know what to expect. So I'll be sharing with you my experience. So just a little bit about me. I have been wearing glasses since I was 15 years old. Finally got to the point where, as a woman in her 30s, I am just over contacts and eyeglasses. Now, starting with the consultation process, I was very thorough in this process. I probably did a consultation with at least 6 doctors, and I'm glad that I did. I noticed that every doctor had a different method, or somewhat of a different method, on how they did their consultations. Some were more thorough, and some I felt like were so fast, they were just doing any kind of nonsense just so that they can get me to go ahead and sign up for the procedure with them. The doctor that I did go with, the reason why I went with him, even though he was the most expensive, and we'll talk about cost in a little bit, because he was the most thorough. Keep in mind, you have one set of eyes. You don't have another pair of eyes. You have another lung, you have another kidney, but you have one pair of eyes, okay? The test was quite thorough. They probably did 5 or 6 different tests. They even had me go to my primary ophthalmologist or eye doctor and had me do a few more tests with them. They requested for my medical records from my ophthalmologist, and they were just very, very thorough. They asked me several questions that, because of these questions, I shared some information that actually slightly pivoted the direction in which we went for my procedure. So I would highly encourage you to take your time and consult with a lot of different physicians or eye doctors. Now, moving forward to the actual procedure that I received. So I actually received Smile, not quite LASIK. So my understanding, and I'm not a doctor, but I am a healthcare professional, but my understanding is that Smile is just a much more gentle laser, and the recovery is slightly longer. So that is the procedure that I went with. Now, why did I go with Smile instead of LASIK? I did express to my doctor that I naturally have dry eye, or, even before going into this procedure, I already have dry eye, and I am frequently putting drops in my eye on occasion from time to time just to keep my eyes lubricated. And I am aware that one of the unwanted side effects of LASIK can be extreme dry eye that is extremely uncomfortable. So with that being said, once again, because they're thorough, they went ahead, they looked in my eye, and they said, yes, they do see what I'm talking about. They do see that there is some dryness, and suggested Smile. Now, this procedure was not more expensive. It didn't take any longer. It made no difference at all in the procedure itself. It was just a different procedure. Like I said, my understanding is just a more gentler laser with a slightly longer recovery, and the technique is different as well, but I cannot explain that because I'm not an eye doctor or an eye surgeon. All right, so now this brings us to the pre-procedure day. So I made my decision on the physician that I would go with, or the surgeon that I would go with, to do my eyes, and I was given a set of instructions for the day before. So the day before, I picked up a steroid eye drop, and I picked up some antibiotics. Now, I was informed that the day before I had to put the eye drops in my eyes. I believe it was every 2 hours that I was putting the steroid and the antibiotic. Now, of course, this is for preventative reasons and prep reasons, prepping your eyes, decreasing the chance of infection, etc. Now, the day of the procedure, they do request request that you have someone drive you. I had someone drive me. My husband drove me, and he was going to pick me back up. You can drive yourself, but then how are you going to get back home? So they do request really for you to have a driver to pick you up. It was a very fast procedure. The longest part was waiting my turn. The procedure itself was very, very simple. They do give you the option to take some kind of like anti-anxiety medication if you would like. This can be Valium, or you can take nothing. I feel like I was tricked into taking something, but I really did not have to. I'm not sure what her title is. I'm not sure what they call them, but like the aide, or the one that was kind of doing my intake, she was kind of like trying to scare me, saying like, oh, you're gonna smell burning flesh, and oh, you might start getting nervous and moving, and this is gonna delay things. But I was very calm in my spirit because I already prayed about it. I had a level of peace about it, so I really did not need it. And by the time they give it to you and the time you actually do your procedure, it doesn't even have a chance to kick in. So it was truly a waste of time, but it is a very small dose. I believe it was like 2.5 milligrams of Valium. So if you are an anxious person, you don't have to be too nervous. That is an option for you. So now when I got into the surgery room or operating room, it was very chill. You lay down flat. There is an apparatus that is on top of your eye. They place these lid, kind of like, they remind me of like tweezers, and they put them on your eyelids to keep your eyes open so that if you blink, it would not be an issue. And then they put the apparatus really close to your eye. Now, the most uncomfortable thing about this entire procedure was the light. There was a very bright light that kind of shined in my eye. It was extremely bright. It was a bright white fluorescent light. I would almost describe it like when you see people say they're going to heaven, or they think they're going to meet Jesus, and it's like this bright white light in the surrounding. That's kind of like what it felt like. And of course, you want to naturally shut your eye, but you have that little apparatus keeping your eye open. It was super fast, maybe 2 minutes on this eye, 2 minutes on that eye, and you were done. 5 minutes total, with 1 minute of chit-chatting and saying thank you. Oh my gosh, that's it. So when you finish your procedure, they would do another eye exam to see immediately post-procedure, what is your new vision level? I know that's not the right term, but like, how has your eye improved after the procedure, post-op? Now, for me, they said if I had Lasix, I probably would have been at 20/30. So, I would have had a lot of my vision immediately after the procedure. But since I had Smile, it was still kind of blurry. A lot better than it would be, if I had like no glasses on pre-procedure, but definitely still blurry. I was told that as the day goes on, my vision would get better. And by the time I wake up in the morning, I should have most, if not all, of my vision. And that is exactly what happened. When I went home, I continued with my steroid eye drops, the antibiotic eye drops. I also had numbing drops and just like hydration drops. Now, those drops, I believe, were to be used every 15 minutes after the procedure. And this was only for like the first 24 hours. And then moving forward, it was 4 times a day for about 4 to 5 days. Okay. The numbing drops, I rarely ever had to use them. I only used the numbing drops one time the same night because I felt like a little tightness in my eyes. It was giving me some slight discomfort and preventing me from falling asleep. So I did go ahead and use that numbing drop that one time, but I literally had no discomfort, no pain, no itchiness, no dryness. I felt extremely comfortable. So now let's talk about costs. Now, from the multiple consultations that I did, I found that this procedure can cost anywhere between $2,300 to $5,500, and that is total, not per eye. So for both eyes, right, for the pair, $2,300 to $5,500. Now, to me, that is quite a large range. Most people, honestly, were between $2,300 and $2,800. The only one that was $5,500 was the doctor that I decided to go with, and truly, it was $6,000 $6,000. I did get a $500 discount for being a healthcare professional, but making it $5,500, but otherwise it would have been $6,000. That is quite a big difference, but that doctor made me feel the most confident, the most assured in his abilities to perform well. And I felt like he actually cared about his patients and wasn't trying to just get my money really quickly. So that is something to consider. I would just say, go within your budget, and also, consider how that doctor makes you feel, because it's not all about money. Like I said, you have one pair of eyes. This is not the time to be cheap. But that is my LASIK eye story. It's been about a month or so now, and my vision just gets better every day. I feel I have no regrets. I feel very comfortable. I haven't had any issues with my eyes. I have had 2 post-procedure kind of check-ins with my primary ophthalmologist, where she kind of just checks my eyes and see how I'm doing, dilate my eyes, make sure that all is well, and that all actually has been well. This is definitely a procedure that I do not regret, and if you're thinking about doing this procedure, I would highly encourage you to do it too. If you have questions about your vision being like so terrible, I do know people, their vision is like so terrible, they feel like they would not be a candidate. It doesn't hurt to do the consultation. Most of them are free, and there are other options than just LASIK. LASIK is not your only option. There are other options, so it does not hurt to explore. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments below. Ciao!